Tashomi's, Harmony and Hustle.
By that point, I've done so many different performances.
Yeah.
I knew how to perform. It was just understanding the scale of things. The energy required to do a small club gig versus this, I'm talking just visually. Like I can stand there, because there's not space, it's cozy on a club gig. So I can do whatever I want, but a stadium where there's at least 10, 20,000 people, like you have to kind of project that energy to all of those people.
Yes.
So you have to then adjust. You just have to adjust according to your scale. It's like almost like catering for one person or a small family to 30, 40 people. Like you have to adjust how you do things. And I've also learned that when it comes to the equipment I use as well. I did the end ups tour where there was a lot of heavy track. And the bass that I initially had was sick, but not necessarily required. And then I got this Charvel bass that I had, which was a lot brighter, was able to cut through all of that stuff. So that was another aspect of it, as well as the visual performance of it. I had to, even though with the end up stuff, I was in one spot, but I still had to, like, at least you're doing that. Do you know what I mean? At the very least, like I can't be doing whatever said song end ups and I'm standing in one spot.
On stage. Now that I'm cutting the solo, I'm digging it. Because what he says,
I know, trust me, I know. I know.
We're trying to find a little comfort. Like.
Yeah. Look normal, innit?
Be natural.
Oh, jeez. Jay.
Come on, my guy.
I appreciate you, fam.
Good.
Man. Yeah, thanks for sitting down with me, bro.
I'm happy to be here, honestly.
What's it? So the last time I saw you was the Montenegro gig.
Yes, gig.
Brother.
We was meant to do that one, and then I just got caught up in every other part of that.
Yes.
Yeah, I ended up doing every single part of that wedding.
Because I found time to sit down and talk to
Morgan, right?
Spoke to Morgan.
Yeah.
Yes. And we had a nice chat actually. We found a nice spot at the top of the hotel, kind of overlooking the water.
Yeah, I was jealous. I mean, this is cool. This is cool. Shout out to Rock Bottom.
Yes, exactly. Rock Bottom. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Because
that gig had so many different parts to it, and
so many.
Morgan and I, we weren't playing as much. As you, so we had the time where you guys were on location.
It was a long day.
It was a long day.
It was a long day. It was fun.
Yes.
It was fun. Like good music, good vibes. Long day.
Long day. It was a long day. And that's the point, actually. I speak to a lot of people about it because we get the benefit of these gigs where you travel. Do you know what I mean? So Montenegro is one where it was an absolutely pristine location. I think they had there was a vineyard at the top of where these guys got married.
Yes.
Like, it was stunning. It was stunning.
Yes.
But then it's a lot of work in that one day. You land the day before. You get yourself together, you got the day, you work, and for you, was working throughout the whole day.
No, not just that. I did the pre-wedding dinner as well.
Yes.
So you got to chill when you landed. I was like, straight to work.
Straight into work. Yeah, exactly. So you did the day you landed, you gigged. The day of my gig was also the second part to your gig, and then we left the following morning.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like a 2-hour bus drive back to the airport, straight into it.
The drive back, to the airport.
Yeah,
it's all coming back.
So that almost has become like your norm, because you've been touring for a while, you've been playing for a while, but a rewind from all of that. How did you start? How did you get into playing the bass?
It's literally two situations. My dad's church. I'm a pastor's kid, and he needed musicians in the church. Like it was just him and my mum doing worship. My dad would play guitar. Like in fact, throughout him planting the church, he would always try and fill in where he can throughout the worship. And there was a point where he just picked up bass, and so he was playing bass in church, and then just jump on the pulpit and preach. And then after that, because over time musicians just like go off and do their own thing. So there was a point where there wasn't really any musicians. So he picked up acoustic guitar and started working on that, and my mum would sing. Then he just looked at me and my two sisters and was like, you know what? I don't know where he got this from, but he was just like, you know what? You guys are going to learn instruments and you're going to pick which one. Like, he didn't give us a choice.
Right. Yeah.
But there was something that just drew me to bass. And I think it was that one song, Israel Houghton, the All Around. Yeah. Where it starts with that bass, like I'd never heard something like that before. So I was just like, you know what? Let me pick that up. And I just managed to gravitate to it so much, to the point where I was just practicing every day. I was just so into it. And whilst I was getting into that, my dad just bought a couple of Fred Hammond live DVDs. And then that's when I was like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Because at that point, I was about to go into year 11. I was like just turning 15. And I didn't really know what to do with my life at that point. A lot of my friends around me, they knew what they wanted to do. They were like, I want to do business, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I was kind of following suit because they were, and it seemed interesting, but I didn't really have a purpose or anything like that. And once I found out, I saw Maurice Fitzgerald playing bass with Fred Hammond. I will always like appreciate what he's done for like just the gospel community. Once I saw that, I was like, I just found my purpose, and it just kind of picked up from there. And at that point, I went to school with Ariel Smith. I went to school with him. We was in the same IT class, and he didn't have to. Like, he just encouraged me. I actually told him I was learning bass, and I told him not to tell anyone else. I was like, I'm learning bass, don't tell anyone. He's like, all right, okay, sick. And then we just managed to be in a lunchtime in one of the music rooms, and he was just like, hey, Josh, you play bass, innit?
He sold you up.
I was looking at him like,
I told you that in confidence, bro.
I was like, show you play bass. And then at that point, I was watching a ton of YouTube. This is when YouTube just kind of was making its thing. And I was watching a lot of Marcus Miller, a lot of Victor Wooten.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I learned his little salsa tapping thing. And I just played that. And apparently no one had ever seen that before, because they were just losing their minds. Like, what? Josh, you can do that? You can play bass? Oh my gosh. Then it just became a thing. But him doing that just gave me so much more confidence in my playing. Then I just went on from there. And the thing about, shout out to Ariel, because that's my brother right there, because he would just ask me to come to all of these things that he would go to.
Great.
He'd be like, oh, come to, there's this church event happening, come. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then he went to college with so many other musicians, and he was just like, oh yeah, come. And then through that, I met, in fact, bring back before that, there was this little young musicians jam that would happen almost every month called Zama.
Okay.
That was just in Croydon. And through that, I met so many musicians who, a lot of them happened to go to the same college with Ariel as well. But I met Aaron Powell. I met Smooth.
Yeah.
I met Gavin Powell. I met Tones. I met, shout out Elliot Mitchell, Nathaniel Forbes. And Ariel, again, would take me to go to his final major project at his college. I met Matthew Allen. I met Shantae. I met Junior. And like Jermaine White, Stefan Brown. Every single one of those names I mentioned are doing bits.
They're killers.
They're doing bits.
All of them, yeah.
And I felt like I was like an honorary member of that college, because I was always just hang around those lot. And it was just one thing led to another from those years forward. And through Junior, I met Kadeem Clark. We happened to do the same gig. And Kadeem was like, oh, you take my number. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And then he just started calling me. And then from that point, I'm doing Ghetts, then little Simz, I'm doing this and that and the third. And then things just picked up from there. And it was just a snowballing effect, which just started from my dad saying, you're learning an instrument.
Yes.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah. And from then, boom, 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 boom. You mentioned the jam that you were in, where that sort of was the connection into meeting so many people. In North London, I guess around the same time, you had a jam called Sewage. And that was happening, that was in Kilburn. That was, I can't remember the name, Black Horse, maybe the pub was called. And the similar type of thing. I went there. I met Bubba McCarthy. That's where I met David Marakpour. Yeah. And when I met David Marakpour down at this jam, he was just starting to play. He wouldn't really speak to anybody. He very much just kept himself to himself. But he always come to the jam, and he was always learning a new instrument. He was always picking up another instrument. It's like, Dave, I thought you played keys. Now he's playing guitar. So I thought you played guitar. Now he's playing bass. It's just that there's those communities where actually maybe when you start in school and somebody else is encouraging, in your case it was your dad, but you actually kept it going. Yeah. But sometimes if it's like let's say you go to music studies in school, or it's just an extra class and you kind of have an instrument, but you don't really take to it the same, maybe you don't go to jams. You don't necessarily meet people who are taking it further from their school environment, from the church environment, and they're doing it for themselves. Actually, I want to play. So then they go into these jams. And like you said, everyone was young at that point. But now, fast forward 10 years, 12, 15 years, 20 years in some people's cases, they're the ones who are touring for all the artists. And it started actually just being keen to play and enjoying it from when you're young.
Just that hunger. So when I come across guys who are that age as well, it inspires me. Because I see that hunger in them, and I'm like, it just brings me back, and it pushes me to like even try and improve whatever I've got going on. I've always had like a heart for like younger people who want to try and step up. Like I remember my boy Mark Lane, like he would talk about how it like literally rock bottom. Like we'll hang out, him, me, and Nathan Bossa. We'll hang out around the bass section, and we'll just be plugging in, and we'll just be showing each other stuff.
Great.
Like it's like you said, community. Like it was just that's what helped us. Yeah. That's what helped us get better. Yeah. During those times.
How do you find your community? What do you do?
Well, you kind of. You don't find it staying at home. You don't find it staying at home. Like I was lucky with having Ariel. He would literally drag me out and be like, come to this thing. If I'm like, nah, you don't like and that way I got to meet so many people. But like you kind of have to, for me, even now I'm having to do this, even kind of do this again myself, just to get myself back out there.
Yes.
Go to like find out what events are happening, find out what's going on, so that you can just go out there and just even if you don't necessarily meet people initially, just to be in that environment, to get inspired with your own creativity. Yeah, like that. At least have that as a starting point. That's what I think. That's a good starting point.
Just get out and go and meet people.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, exactly. Because you're right, you're not going to find it at home.
Yeah.
And I guess we were fortunate because we were growing up. Obviously, we had social media, but it was more MySpace, High Five, MSN.
It wasn't what it was now.
It wasn't what it was now by any means. So I guess the real community was still outside. Yeah. So we would go and find that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now, I guess, because you can stay at home, watch YouTube videos, everybody's teaching something, you can sort of create a bubble for yourself. Yeah. Like maybe you've got one or two friends, but you're really kind of into it because, you know, it's all too a bit neurological. It's all a bit too in the head. But actually getting out, I think it's important to play with other musicians. Yes. It's absolutely important to feel the nerves of, I've got to hold this down, like the whole song. Do you know what I mean? Miss a note, recover while it's still happening and be in that mode. Do you know what I mean? Consistent. I know for me, and I've said it before, church was a fundamental part of my playing because the playing was so regular and there was a community of people that were playing. I didn't have to be the only one owning the love for music. In your case, Ariel Smith, I haven't seen for years, by the way. Shout out Ariel Smith.
Shout out Ariel.
Having somebody who's going to be like, no, actually, I see something in you. Come along. Come here. Even if you don't necessarily see it yourself.
And even with him, like, he used to ask me to play at his church a lot. And he would always have different keyboardists who would come and kind of direct. So I had the pleasure of playing with Genesis Blake, Charlene Goodrich, Joshua Agdamar, so many different. And those things taught me to just be on. I was just always on my toes, especially with Josh Agdamar, because he would call like a series of numbers.
Yes.
in one passing.
Oh, wow, great. Wow.
Like,
wow. That's wild.
He'll be like, whatever number, and he'll just be, you just have to catch up. And if I don't, he'll be like, oh, sorry, it was too fast for you, wasn't it? I'm like, yeah. And there's even been times where like I've been laughed at or I got kind of moved off for a reason. Like there was a time where me being African, I couldn't play reggae that well. And then they were like, oh, John, the African can't play reggae. The African can't play reggae. There was even a point, and then I think it was a rehearsal, I just wasn't getting this bit. And then there was another bass player that was there, Nat Bennett, shout out. Charlie just went to him and was like, hey, just
church people, it'd be like that.
Just jump on it.
It'd be like that, yeah.
And at that point, I was like, you know what, that's never happening to me. Like, even though like it wasn't like it wasn't done maliciously. No, but it was that drive for me to just get better. Because I didn't want to be like the African that can't play reggae. Do you know what I mean? No one wants that title. I don't want to be that guy. So yeah, like just like that, being around those people, and not just Ariel's church, Shantae, Andre Fisher, shout out you, man. Yeah. Like they asked me to play at their church, Newty Brixton. This was like just before Dana started. Dana Fisher started getting like doing his thing. Shout out Dana as well. Yeah, like just those experiences really, like it really pushes you to be on your toes and to catch things quickly.
Yes, yeah. It sharpens your mind really in a lot of ways. I remember, I have spoken about this before, but it's funny speaking to you being a bassist. I can't remember how. Okay, this is how it came about. So I went to KICC.
Oh, yeah.
So that, that's, they had like quite a solid musician base in that church. And I was part of the youth band. And the way the service was going was like a conference. The youth band were on stage before Donnie McClurkin came out.
Right.
So then for whatever reason, the youth band is still on stage and Donnie McClurkin comes out. And at this point, I'm not playing the saxophone, I'm playing the bass. And Donnie McClurkin comes and sits on the keys. And I'm like, I don't need to be here right now. I do not need to be in this position right now. This is levels above my abilities by a long shot. And I'm already starstruck as it is.
Yeah.
So I've got to get over that. Do you know what I mean? Let alone being able to lock in. And he's there on the keys. I mean, obviously, he's laying it down beautifully. Yeah. And it's great that I can put it on my CV, but I don't add the part that I absolutely bombed. I don't add that part to the CV. So he's playing, he's doing his thing, and he just keeps looking back.
No.
I'm like, Donnie, I'm sorry, man. I'm ruining your set. I'm sorry.
It's the look back. It's the look back. You don't want the look back, guys. Because I mean, if they look and they're like, oh, then that's one thing. That's the look back you want.
That's the look back you want, not the look back where it's like, what is happening? What is going on? I've flown from America for this. Get this kid off the bass. And do you know what reminds me of that actually? Now. And it's funny because you've got a lot of DJs commenting on other DJs' posts online where they're sort of just doing their thing, they're dancing, da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. They don't really know what they're doing, but online you can make it look that way.
Yeah.
And then when you bring that person into a live scenario who hasn't necessarily done the work, they haven't done the chops, they haven't figured it out, they haven't done their rudiments, they haven't sat home and spent hours, they haven't gone to the jam sessions, they haven't been tested, they haven't failed numerous times already. So now you bring them to a situation where their online CV suggests that they've got something, then they now start playing, reality sets in where it's like, actually, you're not where you're saying you are. Now, obviously, as a musician, it's important to let people know. But you said something that I love. You started playing the bass. You said, "Hey, don't tell no one. Don't tell no one because I'm not there yet."
Yeah.
So, at what point did you feel like, oh, actually, I'm there. Call me. I play bass.
Weirdly enough, I've always been like the shy, not as confident kind of guy. So I would always like the to be that person who was like, oh yeah, like call me.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. I always struggled to be that person for myself. Luckily, I was just able to let my talent just speak for itself. So whenever I was on those stages and in those positions, I would meet the people and they just gravitated to me. Yeah. And they would take me on like a Ariel, like a Kadeem Clark, like a Junior. So yeah, like I always thought I would respond to people's reactions of me, like when I first started showing them the Victor Wooten stuff, doing a school concert with Ariel, and like just that'll be nice moments. But I tend to, which is not necessary, it can be a good thing, but not always. Always tend to look at the parts that I would want to improve on. Yeah. More than the stuff that I am good on. Do you know?
Yeah. Sure.
There is that side that sometimes I can struggle with, but for me, it's just all about that improvement, I guess, with that. So, like, yeah, I think the point where, if there was a point where I thought, oh yeah, cool, I'm good, maybe once I started really getting around the church scene, if that was to answer your question, maybe around then. So we're talking, I was maybe just under 18 or something like that. I was a few years in playing bass. Yeah, maybe around then I'll say.
What I've thought about quite a lot with my playing is similar to yourself. I suffer from some kind of social anxiety. I'm not massively great around people, and a lot of the musician life is being around people constantly.
Sometimes I hate it, but
exactly. Sometimes it feels like more work than the gig itself. Do you know what I mean? Not that I've got a problem with being around people, just putting it out there. But it's a lot of, like, for example, I did a gig last night. It was an office Christmas party, and it was in some venue in King's Cross, and they had like 2 or 3 different rooms of things going on, and it was like the whole company, so 800 people in this room or in these various different rooms, moving between the bars and whatnot. The green room was a green corridor, and the corridor had dancers, singers, magicians, aerialist performers, band.
Hearing that, I just want to find a corner and just...
do you know what I mean? And you can't even hide behind a phone because everybody wants to talk to you. So your hair, it's like, oh, yeah. It's just like, it's like overload. There's so many people. So then actually going on stage and performing, the saxophone is almost a bit of a barrier between the people and yourself. And I feel for singers because it's just them. So I guess the question I'm asking is, when your confidence came about, maybe this is a bit of a philosophical one, but I'm interested in your take on it. When the confidence was starting to come about, were you confident in the fact that I can do this? So actually, I'm confident in this, or was the confidence behind the bass? And actually, no, I'm feeling better about or not better, but I'm feeling like I'm happier to put myself out there as opposed to I'm happy to put my skill out there. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Like, it was a bit of both. I guess it started in the skill. And as it progressed, it became about being happy about just myself being out there. And also me learning, learning how to interact with people better, because I do have moments where I'm like happy, cheerful, like chirpy, like the central guy. I have moments like that, but I also have moments where I'm very I'm very withdrawn. Mainly my confidence mainly came through the skill and knowing that I could confidently show up and do what I'm asked to do. And through that came the confidence within myself, I guess.
Yeah, I get that. Because I often find a similar thing, and I'm not even sure if I'm more confident with the sax or just by, I don't know if I'm projecting the confidence through the saxophone, because you'll be in a room and no one knows who you are, and that's fine. And then you get on your instrument and you do your thing, and now people are fascinated and they want to get to know you. And the thing that often goes on in my head is, do you want to get to know me, or do you know what I mean? Or do you just love the saxophone?
Yeah. I somehow learned to just have especially when it comes to my stage presence on stage. Sometimes it's just like a switch.
Yeah.
I've had I could be on whatever stage, and sometimes I'll have butterflies or nerves and stuff like that. I remember the last Ghetts tour I did, because I had so much to think about. I was just nervous. I'm like, okay, do a little prayer. I'm like, okay. And as soon as I hear the click, I'm it's a switch.
Yeah.
So and then after everyone's like, oh yeah, you were sick and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, cool, sick. And I think I tend to project that side of me more, and then just kind of leave who I am to myself, and then with the people who really know me. And then if I build a relationship with that person, that's when I tend to slowly bring to that person. Is so I've always found that interesting, like how I could just switch like that. Because especially with the stage presence, I wasn't always like that. I was very much just to myself.
Yeah.
Just look at the neck what I'm doing. But then I saw Nat Forbes and how he would just like Nat Forbes, yeah.
That'll do it.
Nat Forbes, yeah. Like as a like for the artist out there, the artist that's worked with Nat, if you don't have good stage presence, the gig is no longer yours. Like
Wow.
the way he could command the stage, I've seen him do that.
Yeah.
Where he commanded the stage so well, everyone forgot about said singer. It was his gig now.
Yeah.
So he's just such a big brother as well. He's like a hero to me. I took a lot from that, and then I just applied that and tried to make it myself in almost like a persona.
Yes.
When I'm on stage. And then there's Josh on stage, and then there's Josh off stage. So it's I've always found that interesting about the philosophical dynamic of performance, especially for myself. I've always found that interesting.
With performing, there's so many angles of it. There's the skill, which has to be there, unquestionably.
Of course.
You have to put your hours in.
Yeah.
You don't really get to the table if you don't. And there's only so long you can look the part until you get found out. So the hours have to go in, 100%. Now, you can be the best player, skillful player, but that may not necessarily look great and wonderful. And there's places where that doesn't really matter. For example, if you're just a recording artist,
you don't need.
Doesn't matter. You're behind closed doors. It doesn't matter at all. Now, if you're doing some of the stages that you've done, you've played in front of thousands of people. You can't have that same persona of I'm just doing the skill. So the performance has gone from playing what you're playing to dancing, acting. You know, you're doing so much more with your body. To the point where you almost have to put the music somewhat to the side because the performance is a whole different thing. And I guess what's positive about the church environment, and let's just say environments where you can play in front of people safely, because you're not really going to get criticised apart from the band leader and your other band. Of course. They all criticise you. But everybody else in church, they all love you no end. I'm not saying the band doesn't, but you know what it is. So to go from those safe environments where everyone just wants you to win to an environment where people have either paid money or they expect a certain level of performance, there's got to be a level of growth, because you can get away with being very insular as a musician in safe environments, but you can't get away with that being outside in other environments. So I know your confidence, you said, has come about largely, I won't say largely, but as the fact that the skill has risen, it's almost kind of giving you more of actually, hold on, I've got this, you know what I mean? But then when it comes to doing gigs on big stages, like stadiums and things like that, how have you been able to be confident in those moments?
In those moments, like I've had to almost I've had, by that point I've done so many different performances. I knew how to perform. It was just understanding the scale of things. So the energy required to do a small club gig versus this, I'm talking just visually. Like I can stand there because there's not space. It's cozy on a club gig, so I can do whatever I want. But a stadium where there's at least 10, 20,000 people, like you have to kind of project that energy to all of those people.
Yes.
So you have to then adjust. Like you just have to adjust according to your scale. It's like almost like catering for one person or a small family to 30, 40 people. Like you have to adjust how you do things. And I've also learned that when it comes to the equipment I use as well. So like I did the End Ups tour where there was a lot of heavy track. And the bass that I initially had was sick, but not necessarily required. And then I got this Charvel bass that I had, which was a lot brighter, was able to cut through all of that stuff. So that was another aspect of it, as well as the visual performance of it. I had to, even though with the End Up stuff, I was in one spot, but I still had to like... at least you're doing that. Do you know what I mean? At the very least, like I can't be doing whatever said song with End Ups and I'm standing in one spot. Like one of them could notice and be like, that they because the artist would want that energy that they're giving from the band as well. Same with Ghetts as well. Like I've had times where I felt like I needed to give the energy that he's giving because he's gonna go regardless, regardless where he's gonna go. So you better keep up and match. So back to the question. I've always had to just scale things as I went. So
that makes sense.
Like the small gigs, you can give the energy, like you can, but with the bigger arenas, it's more of a must. It's more of a must.
You've played for a bunch of different artists. You've name dropped a few of them, and they weren't dep gigs. You're a part of the band. You've grown with the bands. Like a large part of your career has been playing for, these really high established artists. How have you maintained those relationships with the band, with the booking agents, and just with that crew to the point where you've cemented your position? So they're not looking for anyone else to play bass. Actually, you're the one depping if you can't do it. Do you know what I mean? How do you get there?
If I was to keep it really, really simple, I just did what I needed to do consistently every single time. So to the point where you could call me and you just know that I'm gonna come through. And of course, when it comes to performing with the same people over a while, you build a bond. And I was able to do that with Ghetts and Simz, like working with the same people over and over again. You just build that bond naturally. And when you keep, like I kept consistently just showing up when I needed to show up, knowing the stuff. Like it's the simple basic things that require to do a gig. So when I get called from those people, they know I'm gonna come through. So and especially because I've put in the work as well, in my practice time, I also have a sound that they know that would match what they want, and they have a preference to my sound. So when they call me, they call for my sound.
Exactly. There isn't, to be real, I don't know many bassists with your sound. I don't think anybody does exist with your sound, brother. It's assertive. It's such an assertive, strong bottom that you bring through. Like when you're on a tune, when you're playing, there is energy. And even if I can't see you doing all of that, but I can hear the bass. The bass is charging, which makes sense that you work with rappers. The bass is, do you know what I mean? Like you're essentially rapping on the bass, basically.
It's interesting that a lot of my career has been with rappers, because I've always taken, when it comes to just me playing, I've always taken a liking to melody. So whenever I'm in a church setting or even a song like with a rapper that has a nice melody and I'm given a bit more range to express, I'm playing that melody.
Yes.
I'm playing that melody. Wherever that melody is, if I like it, I'm gonna play it.
Yes, yeah. The bass sings. Like you sing with it. A lot of, I remember I did, there's a jam that I do every now and again in a bar called the Orleans Bar in Finsbury Park. It's a crazy jam, like starts 10:30, finishes 2 a.m. It doesn't pay anything serious at all, but there's always great musicians that come through. There's a double bassist who came, and this is where names are just, Castanari is an Italian, I can't remember his full name. When he plays the bass, it's a different, obviously a different application because he's playing the upright double bass, but whatever the song is, he's like singing the whole way through. He always hits, he's never off. He's never missing the line. He's always hitting the one all the time. He's always following the chord changes. But there's just like a dance. Doesn't stay in one place. He's just gliding through. And when like a bassist can sing with the bass whilst also holding down, and it's a big responsibility because the bass is so prominent. Do you know what I mean? It's such a loud sound and accounts for a lot of the frequency range. Like when you can actually have fun with that whilst complementing everything else and also asserting your sound. Like it's a high level skill. It's a high level skill.
It requires good listening skills. So for me, how I was able to get to that point where I'm playing melodies is, you know, those church rehearsals where the band already knows what they're doing, but the singers are still figuring it. The singers are still figuring their thing out, and we're all just sitting there like, well,
waiting for them to get it. Yes, that's a callback, actually.
So like, but for some reason, I just managed to gravitate to harmonies, and whenever like they were like, oh no, like it's this, and then I'll work this out, and then they're working it out, and I'm listening to it, and and then I'm hearing what the keyboardist is doing, and I would kind of play chords, and I'll manage to play the voicing and not just the root note and top note. Like I'll be able to play the voicing of the of the keyboardist. So yeah, I've been able to. I spend a lot of time listening to what's happening with just music in general, and really trying to pay attention to the detail of the music. And that's kind of how I've been able to, when I am playing, I'm trying to cater to not just my part, but everyone else's part.
Why is it so important to listen as a musician? It sounds like a silly question, but it's really not. Do you know, there's a lot of jams are a great place to start. There's a lot of jams where you're playing with people who you don't know, and typically everybody has an ego and everybody wants to show that they've got something to offer. So naturally, it will be a point where everyone's kind of chomping at the bit. They really want to show, I've got this thing or this technique, or I can reference this thing, or I can do yada, 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 yada. And listening to what's happening sometimes goes out the window because everybody wants to show themselves to be the baddest one on the stage. Like, why is it so important for a musician actually to really listen to what's going on simultaneously while holding down what's going on?
Like, I feel when I listen more, I'm able to express more and almost respond to. I get a better connection with the band because I can respond to whatever is going on. So I like parts where, let's say for example, I'm playing Human Nature, and I'm playing the chorus like why, and then I'll start playing the chord, the actual chords. Dun, 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 dun. Like I'm responding to the melody, what the singers are doing, and what the keyboardist is doing at the same time, as well as playing my part. I feel like I get to respect the music a bit more.
Yeah.
When I'm listening. So yeah, I always get more pleasure out of that more than, oh yeah, here's what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? I get more pleasure of like knowing that I've like, because in my opinion, music is the music is the boss.
Yes.
Regardless, like whoever's in the music is the boss. Like if even when I'm in a situation when I'm MDing, I don't just want to direct what I want. I'm directing what I think the music wants. So, and that requires a listening ear.
Yeah.
That requires a listening ear. So it's like you said, like it sounds simple when it says just be a good listener with music, but it's so much more to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
I almost lost my words thinking about it.
So my perspective, being a saxophonist,
Yeah.
if I'm part of a band, I've always found the sax and the horns, they exist in this interesting place. And it's fascinating the way you're talking about the bass, because I've never really thought that you almost have somewhat the same perspective as I have, because I can flow between the horn lines on the track.
Yeah.
Do you know? So I can live in that lane. I can always play the horn lines.
Yeah.
But then I can also complement the singers. Because there's a lane there where I can do that. Then I can actually get in with the band and some of what the chops the band are doing. So actually now I'm just sort of in this place where I can, they say stay in your lane. Well, I've got open lanes across.
Exactly.
But at the same time, that means I could be throwing everybody off potentially. I could throw the singers off if they're not really comfortable with singing or harmonizing with an instrument in that way. And especially when you're standing next to singers, the saxophone's quite a loud instrument. It's a horn. I'm blowing a horn, and it's very loud, and it can throw people off. So there's even being aware of the impact of the very sound itself while I'm stood next to people playing, let alone the melodies that are being played. So I've got to be aware of, and I believe I've looked into it. I'm pretty sure I'm ADHD. I'm pretty sure I'm right up there on the scale. So my head is going a million miles a minute. Like singers are doing that, I could get in there. But if I go there while the keys are doing this, all right, so it's best I leave that spot. Do you know what I mean? But now I know there's a break in this part of the song. They're coming down here. And I'm not even necessarily thinking what would be nice for the saxophonist to do. Actually, what saxophone sound would work in that line. So then the listener would be like, oh, that was a satisfying.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's hit what you would want to hear.
Yeah.
So now I can pull it all back. Now I've delivered that bit. I can hold out for a bit. Everybody else is cooking. Let the thing bubble away, bubble away. There's another little gap. All right, boom, right there. But then also sometimes leaving the gaps, because gaps are quite nice. Music is the space between the notes. It's not necessarily consistent wall of sound. So sometimes those gaps are nice. Don't just fling something in there because there's space. Actually, give the listener a moment to feel the music.
That's why picking your spots is so important. Like, yes, we're talking about, before we was talking about like catering to all the other musicians, but you can't overdo it at the same time. It's like putting too much salt on too much seasoning in your food. Like eventually it will spoil. It will spoil the meal. So picking your spots is so important. Like I think when it comes to practicing that, it does come with experimentation.
Yes.
So you won't always get it, but when you do get it, it's very satisfying.
It is.
It's very, very satisfying. So and as you practice, you develop the right, like the what's it called? You start to get the right decision. You're making the right decisions more often. Like because music, there's so many ways you can express yourself, but at the same time, it also needs to be tasteful. Like, I can't do that the whole gig. I can't do that the whole song. Like I'm sure it'll be nice, but eventually it's too much.
Yes, yeah.
So
it will nag after a while, and you want the worst thing somebody can say is, "Oh, the music was great, but." But yeah, that drummer just needed to chill out a little bit. But apart from that, it's, like, you don't really want that at all. But like you said, it comes with experience and it comes with experimentation, which goes back to the jams. And I can't like stress it enough. It's so important to be in that place because it's there are no stakes really. Do you know what I mean? There's no stakes really in a jam session.
No.
I mean, you may never get called back. That's a stake, I guess. But ultimately, it's an environment for that purpose of everybody figuring something out. And a good jam on that is the Ori jam. Shout out to the Ori jam. These guys, they try to play one song the whole night. And that song will evolve into whatever it evolves into. It's a fairly big stage for a jam session, and you've got a consistent kind of rotation of musicians while the song is still happening. So the thing is just growing and evolving and evolving.
Love that.
And with that, when you get on, I guess, and you get your sort of 5-6 minutes to be a part of what's going on, you can slot in. You've had time to listen, to see what's been established. You can be a part of it. You can take little moments. Or let's say, like you said, the music is asking for some kind of change. I remember I was at Yuri Jam. I wasn't even on the stage at this point. But they were playing a groove which for some reason would have worked perfectly with the Imperial March. Ba, 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 da, ba, ba, da. So I went over to the tuba player and I was like, Imperial March! He was like, what? I said, Imperial March. And you can see he's playing and the wheels are turning. I was like, oh, actually, he starts playing it and then moves the thing. And I'm like, cool, my work's done. I don't need to play. I've had a bit of input.
Love that.
But like those are good environments because you can, in real time, like you said, experiment and see what works. And I know a lot of musicians who are starting out, being on stage can be kind of frightening at times. You're somewhat naked. You're just there with your talent or your skill and your desire, and you're hoping it's well received. But at the same time, you're also very much showing who it is that you are and what it is that you have to offer. So it can be quite a daunting experience. So a lot of musicians play with their eyes closed. You know, they play quite inward. And you can't really do that in an environment with other players because you need to be aware of where everybody's at. You've got to look over because maybe they're looking at you and they're like, all right, we're going to do this. When you're here, the whole band stops and you're just going, boo. That's the worst. You know what that? No, what's that?
Like, when you're having a conversation with someone, you're not talking with your eyes closed, are you?
That's the best way to put it.
You know what I mean?
That's the best way to put it.
Imagine like, oh, how's your day? And you're like...
Exactly.
No, man. It's good to be forced in positions that may be compromising, and forced in sink or swim situations, where, like, for example, like a jam night, and then they're like, they call you up on stage, and then they pick a song, and you don't know the song. Yeah. You're like, okay, there's a time to have your eyes open.
Yes.
Is that? So so at that point, when I've been in those situations, I try and have like my senses on high alert and try and respond as quickly as possible. I've had situations where I've had to learn songs very last minute. That's happened a lot with Ghetts. I remember when I first got with Ghetts, flashback boy, we were doing Maid of Vale. And what G likes to do a lot, he would like to just say, I want to do this. I want to do this song. It's his gig, it's his prerogative. He wants to do that. Cool. The problem is, I'm new here. So he called out a song that he wanted to do. And I think I made a face or something like that. And then he was like, but does he know it though?
Oh, what?
And then Kadeem was like, yeah, he knows it. Thanks. Yeah, he knows it. And then he just comes up to me with a phone. He's like, yeah, just go quickly. So I literally had 10 minutes
Wow.
to like just be like,
Yes.
okay, cool. Luckily, when you're in a place like Maida Vale, you can do takes. It's not like BBC Live Lounge where it's just one and done. Like you can do a few takes. So that was my saving grace. But I still had to
learn that.
I still had to learn that.
Yeah.
And I managed to get through it. Is out there if you want to see it. I managed to get through it. Thank God. But like it's those sink or swim moments. Like at that point, like the more it started happening, the more I was getting confident in like being able to listen and catch what's happening.
Yes.
So now, like nowadays, when you get lots of function gigs, for those who have never done a function, there's never a rehearsal. Almost never a rehearsal for a function. You turn up knowing your stuff, and then you play and go home, right?
Yeah.
And there's times where you sense songs that you haven't played before. So I'm like, okay. Like, I'm on the way, like, okay. And this comes with a lot of interval training. When you learn your intervals and stuff. Okay, this interval, that interval. Okay, that's the verse. Okay, that's the chorus, bridge. Okay, cool. I kind of got it.
Yeah.
And then you once the song comes, you play.
You gotta do it.
Yeah, like those experiences really, really help. Like it's good to be in those sink or swim moments, because if you sink, like luckily it's not a real life situation, so you're not gonna drown. But like it will, either way it's a win-win, because if you swim, it gives you the confidence to know that you can do this again. If you sink, it will push you to make sure that never happens again.
Yes. And there's no way around that. There's no way around that. I've had many moments where I've wanted the ground to open me up and swallow me whole.
Yep.
Where I've been the Donnie McClurkin situation was one. In fact, I probably stopped playing bass after that, to be honest. I probably didn't actually touch the bass again for quite a while. I sank, that bass stream sank in the most epic way. But you need that. I used to suffer from claustrophobia. The tight spaces were things that I was trying to get involved in. I didn't like being in trains, didn't like being on a packed bus, didn't like being in central London certain times on Oxford Street when the streets are rammed. Just get nervous.
A lot of people don't, but
yeah, you know what I mean? So fair enough. And I went to jiu-jitsu. So I thought, you know what, let's do some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which is just rolling and grappling and all that kind of stuff. And essentially, I go to my first jiu-jitsu class, and there's a brother who's stronger, considerably stronger than me, who's done a lot more jiu-jitsu than I have, because I was on day one. So basically, I spent the first session just getting rolled and pretzeled and choked and squeezed. And actually now, this is what claustrophobia is for, when you're in these tight situations. So I found I was incredibly uncomfortable. But when you're in that situation, you can't panic, because panic doesn't do anything for you. In fact, panic makes it worse. It makes it, because you're not thinking rationally, you're just thinking emotionally. Like, I want to get out. Get out there. Do something. Do you know what I mean? The little thing that your teachers taught you in the 20 minutes you had before, Chad comes and turns you into a flipping, do you know what I mean? Like, do something. So 1 lesson, 2 lessons, 3 lessons, 4 lessons. And I think the 4th time I went to jiu-jitsu, kind of realized, I don't actually suffer from claustrophobia anymore. I don't have that thing. I had to go through the fire of it. And claustrophobia is a tricky one, because it's very, very unlikely that you'll ever be in a situation where claustrophobia is actually necessary, because it's just the fear of being in a tight situation. But once you're in the tight situation, again, the fear is not massively helpful, because now we've got to go into action. So I found going into the situation that I least wanted to be in and taking myself there time and time again, I started rewiring the brain. The brain's like, now that fear isn't as necessary, because the things that you're worried about, we've done them, and you're still here. And you know how to get out of it. Exactly. So go on stage and perform in front of people and tank. go on stage again,
Yeah.
perform again, tank again. Go out and busk, be in front of people. The amount of times I bust and people walk past me like with their fingers in their ears. Like the rejection you get is endless. Go face that rejection. Go toughen your skin. And the less you care about what people will think if you do well or not do well, it puts you in a much more comfortable position to do well. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the fear will go away. I get anxious before gigs, before I'm going to play, because even though I've rehearsed and I know what the songs are, I still have to play them correctly and I still have to deliver it correctly.
Exactly.
And it still has to look good. And anything can happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's still there, but we get used to dealing with the feelings that would come from that kind of situation.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm thinking back to the times where I would switch on with the performances, because when I remember doing an intro for Little Simz. I don't know why Kadimi had me doing the most. Yeah, much love to him. Yeah. Like because I had a massive rig for that for that Little Simz. I think I had like 2 or 3 different synths as well as playing bass. Somehow he had me. This is for the intro. Yeah. Somehow he had me playing the entire rig. Wow. But that's his creative brain. He's just like, yeah, Josh, run this. Like, Josh, run that. But there's not a point where I'm like, I can't do it. I'm actually, I'm actually trying to be like, okay, cool. Okay, I guess I can do it. But then I've realized the position I've put myself in.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, snap, this is a lot. This is a lot. So, and then the clicks come up and I'm thinking, okay, I've got to do this. Okay, right. And that brain is ticking. I'm anxious. But then because of, again, the experience I've had, and again, like, I can't panic. You just have to, I got to do it.
You've got to do it.
You just got to do it. And then at that point, I think, what gig was that? I remember now, it was Global Soul. At, like, it's all coming to me now. Global Soul at Brixton Academy. And it was a very quick changeover, not much. It's one of those ones where not much sound check time, so you don't have the best of monitor mixes. Like, you just have to go with what you're going with. At the same time, I'm doing a whole bunch. Right. And like you said, you just have to just go do it. Like, I've learned that being in those positions where you realize you've got a lot on your plate or you're doing a whole bunch. But the more, when you're in those positions where you just go do it, the more confidence I have. So I remember doing a gig recently, and they were like, Josh, are you sure you can do it? Like, yeah. And then even like my boy T, he was like, yeah, you can do it. Like, I've seen him be put for the ringer. A whole bunch of ringers I've been put through, man. Yeah. But the more it happens, the better you get. Like going gym. You know what I mean? It's like music gym. Yeah, almost like that.
I did. I probably spoke about this one already. I did a gig for a friend of mine. Her name's Aiden Simone. She's a old school jazz singer, like really great, sort of old school kind of. She sounds like your aunt. Do you know? She sounds like your auntie who loves you. Do you know? That's who she sounds. She's a warm, beautiful tone. Great singer, and she sings jazz and she sings bebop jazz. And I remember, very like super last minute, the day of the gig, she was like, Tashomi, are you available to play for me in Pizza Express? I think it was in Sloane Square, I think, or Victoria, one of those ones. Yeah. So yeah, she had a whole jazz gig. And typically with jazz gigs, with a sax player, you run most of the solos. That's you. Do you know what I mean? The singer will sing her thing, and then there'll be a section of the song where the instrumentalist will play. And as a forefront instrument, as a saxophonist, you're going to be doing the solos. Yeah. Now this is bebop jazz. Changes all over the shop. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's just not a joke. And she called me on stage and she put me in front of all these people who paid good money to sit down, have dinner. Do you know what I mean? Listen to some jazz. And she's like, Tash, go ruin their evening. And she's like, go ruin their evening. I mean, I got through it. I've developed a way to play jazz when I don't know what the song is. You can hear some changes. You're familiar with some movements. Jazz is a very, very clever genre. It's mathematical. It's not straightforward by any means. It's not like you're 1 6 4 5, hold the 4 and then you're out. Like it's none of that. What do you mean? It's like what's that meme with the mathematical equations? That's what jazz is. That's what bebop is.
It's a lot of that. Yeah.
And in the moment, you just have to go through it, and there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. And the only person in the room that knows you're struggling really should only be you. You should be the only one knowing that. The listener doesn't need to know.
Yeah.
The band don't need, well, they should know because they should bring you in. But you don't need to, like, do you know what I mean? Guys.
Yeah.
But no, fair enough. But when it comes down to it, it's just you. So, okay, you're in a moment where the poo has hit the fan. It's happening and you just got to go. You can't think about it. You just have to go. And the safest thing to do is in that situation is find a nice groove and stay there. And when the change comes that you're not expecting, you don't know, as Victor Wooten, you mentioned him quite a bit. What does he say? You're only ever one semitone away from the right note anyway. So it's not that crazy. Do you know what I mean? It's not that bad. Just make sure that you're listening, that you're aware. You can't be like in your, kind of withdrawn. You've got to assert yourself. You've got to be there. But at the same time, you almost have to call on the confidence and say, well, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't supposed to be here. So let's just figure this thing out.
That reminds me of a gig I did earlier this year with Mr. Rick James.
Oh, the king.
He's my. I have so much time for him. Like I've got so much love for him. He would have me play synth bass behind him when he would do his lead lines. Now there's this one particular song where now he knows I'm not a jazz guy, but he just likes my groove, so that's why he calls me. But there's this one song where there's just it's a whole bunch of changes, whole bunch of it's a whole bunch of lines and all of that stuff. And not only am I can play synth quite well. I'm not a keyboardist. It's very different. So I'm now having to learn how to play very fast lines like a keyboardist. And you just have to find your way around. Like you don't have a choice. Or if you don't give yourself one. Like if you give yourself a choice, you're gonna opt out mentally. But I've learned to not give myself a choice. You have to get this.
Yes, just go.
Just go. And it's a song called Jolie. It's such a sick song. There's a particular line I remember. I'm not a keyboardist, but I have to go down. I think I'm going down a minor progression, then going up a diminished.
Oh. That sounds cool.
It's sick.
Yeah.
When you're listening.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling Rick knows that. He knows I'm not doing it right. Deep down, he knows I'm not doing it right. But he's like, the rest of it sounds fine. But again, it just goes back to just going for it and being it's always interesting how those situations help you grow.
Yeah.
The constant last minute or weird situations. They even remind me of another. Maybe the other month I was playing for she's like a sister to me. Zola Marcel. In fact, she was in Montenegro with us.
Yes.
And her music doesn't have a guitarist. She has 2 bass players.
Wow. Wow, I love that.
It's sick. Sick. The only problem was that when I did it, it was just me.
It's just one bass player.
It's just one bass player.
Then there normally is just one bass player.
And then there's a song that, it's a beautiful song. I forgot the name of it. And the bass player is starting off with chords, and then the other bass player coming with the bass line.
Oh, that's nice.
Like, it's so beautiful. Like, her music is so amazing. But I'm having to now learn this song. So I'm like, okay, first of all, the initial bass I didn't have enough frets. I had to go and get my old 6-string out. Like, I had to clean that up, like get the new strings and all of that stuff, just so I could play it efficiently. But it pushed me to think, okay, like, and it comes back to me respecting the music, because I could just play the chords and she probably would have been happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, okay, is there a way that I can do both? So I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. So I'm sitting, I'm playing the chords, and then I'm like, okay, let me try and stretch and see if I can do the lower note and some of the other stuff. And then I managed to work it out. And the appreciation that she had, like I felt so fulfilled just to be able to to be able to do that. And I'm like, it's so like just fulfilling just to get that right. And it did come from, like, again, like going for it. And I'm also respecting the music, and I want to still give the music the original feeling that it has when you first listen to the original record. It's just me, but I don't. So what? It's just you. Figure it out.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
This is the requirement.
Yeah, work it out.
Yeah.
But it was enjoyable though. Once I got there, I remember still making a mistake though, like, because I naturally like to have my bass kind of low.
You do, yeah.
But I had to bring that back. I had to wind that up. It was right up to my chest, and I remember like having to do a chord where I'm barring 2 strings, the bottom 2 strings, and stretching up to the lowest.
Yeah.
and working out that way. And I remember missing it, and I was like, sorry.
But the show must go on. It's like, well, you keep moving.
The show must go on, exactly. It's so interesting how, once again, these experiences just help you grow.
Of course. Now, just a couple more questions.
Sure.
I think there's a band coming there shortly, and I've got to be on the other side of London in the next 2 hours.
Yes, you do.
2-hour drive. And I left my suit at home. So I've got to figure a lot of things out right now. What was it like playing with Rick James, and Soweto Kinch was on that gig as well, wasn't he?
I believe so, yeah.
The absolute monster of a saxophonist and rapper Soweto Kinch is. What was it like working with the two of them?
I felt like it was almost like I was just you know how like when you go to a museum and you're just admiring the art?
Right, yeah.
You're just like, and at the same time you have to think, oh, it's not, I got my part as well. Like, I can't remember which song it was. Luckily, I didn't have much of a part to play, but I still have to get in that groove. But it's so interesting working with Rick, because every single song, there's something that will stretch you, and that's the sole reason why I said yes to working with him, because I knew I would learn something from him. Because he's an absolute he's an absolute monster on bass player. And like it's so like mine. I just learned so much from like learning his progressions, and then me as a bass player seeing how he expresses when he is soloing, and how he's and like where he would take the music at that point. Because we used to, like, I would do certain jam nights with him at Soul Mama where it would just kind of go somewhere and I would take it. He gives me the room to take it wherever I want. So I would take it to like maybe like a little hip hop, like old school hip hop groove, and he would just vibe with that and he will go off what I'm doing. I think that particular gig with Soweto Kinch, it was his gig, so we're actually playing the music. Like it's a bit of a blur because it was quite a while back.
Okay.
Early in the year. But I just remember like just really like enjoying the moment. Like I don't get much of a solo time, thank God, because I'm not I'm not that not in a jazz situation. In like any other situation I can get by. I just do licks fast.
Yeah.
just do all your licks, just do it fast. It's not like jazz where I have to like all those mathematical, like I'm not that guy, and he respects that. So he's just like, just what you doing there, just do that. I'm like, that. Cool, sick, and then like just allowing him to do his thing. It's so enjoyable, man. Shout out to Rick. I've got so much time for him. Like, yeah, I've got so much love for that guy.
I mean, I think. I don't think the Troy bar has ever been the same since Rick has moved on from there. I don't know if he still plays every now and again, but at least from when I was younger, they had some absolute killers, and he was at the top of that. Big shout out to Rick. Last question. What is the most valuable opinion you have of yourself?
I matter.
Come on, I love that.
Whatever I have to contribute to this world, wherever God has put inside of me to have impact, wherever my purpose is or is on this earth, it matters, and I need to. And I always have to act on that. Like even sometimes it's a wake up call to myself whenever, like, because sometimes like we'll have moments where we think a little less of ourselves, like whatever scenarios and stuff. But as long as I go back to that, like I can still live out my purpose here. So yeah, man, like I matter. Come on, my guy.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Come on, my guy.
Much love, man.
Yeah, man. No, like I enjoy this. Shout out to this place.
Yes, yeah, they looked after us. It was in a sticky situation.
It was in a very sticky situation, but we're here.
Exactly. Oh, I love, brother.